Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today we're looking at the new cards for the expansion of the Boomsday project. So to look at them, you go into crafting mode, you can click include uncrafted cards, you need to do that, and then you click over here and click Boomsday. Theoretically you could click Boomsday and then click this and this, either way works. Last time we looked at the hunter cards, this time we're going to look at the mage cards. First card we have is a 1 mana spell, deal 1 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. That is called Shooting Star. This is probably a pretty good card because there is already a standard, I think it's a basic mage card that gets +1 attack every time there's a spell played, so you could see this played very early. If you wait till like the 3rd or 4th turn when there actually are 3 people on the field, you have a good chance of killing at least one, if not all 3 of them. It's not going to change too much if you have spell damage +1 or +2. The whole spell damage plus minions kind of have fallen out of fashion at this point, where yes, they'll increase spell damage, but that's highly unlikely to save you. Ideally, the one thing I want to see happen with the mage deck is the elimination of the sorcerer apprentice duplicate plus the archmage archidonus, which that is a combination of cards where the Archmage Archidonus gives you a arcane missile every time a spell is played, and the Sorcerer Apprentice reduces the cost of spells like arcane missile so it can be played for free. It means if you can get enough Sorcerer Apprentices on the field, I think it's like 4 or 5, so you have to play some cards and tricks to do that, but it's not too hard and it's very well known. If you can do that, you can go from being about to lose the game to completely winning the game in 1 turn in a very unfun way. It just feels unfair, and so many people who were playing Mage a few months ago were doing that strategy and that strategy only that it was driving me insane more than anything else. Next card we have is a 2 mana spell, Astral Rift. Add 2 random minions to your hand. Mage has several cards about random minions, but I haven't seen a major synergy with them yet. Unlike the thief cards for the rogue, I haven't seen anything that says if this card didn't start in your deck originally, give it +1/+1 or anything like that. Not that I can think of, at least. Next we have a 2 mana, 2 attack, 1 health elemental minion called the Celestial Emissary. It has battle cry. The next spell you this turn has spell damage +2. This almost certainly eliminates a lot of the other spell damage plus cards, because it is an elemental card which plays to the hero replacement card that gives, if you play the hero replacement card that came out in, I believe, 2 expansions ago, all elementals automatically get lifesteal, so you can definitely play a almost 30 card deck of elementals now. So in general, I think this replaces 2 or 3 different kinds of cards. Next we have a 2 mana spell called the Research Project. Each player draws 2 cards. It's still not a smart move to try to mill or make your opponent run out of cards. I have never seen it effectively executed as a strategy. I feel like, since it's such a pointless strategy anyways, I feel like at this point, if people run out of cards, it should be a case of the game ending in a draw and both players just getting a win. The win ratio in Hearthstone tries to approach 50%. If we could just get it to 75 or higher in the percentage. I think this game would be a lot more fun for your average player who's expecting closer to a 90-95% win ratio. In a single player games, I mean, how often in mini games do you ever die at all? So some games I die once in 60 hours, whereas in Hearthstone you might spend 5 to 10 minutes on a game and then end up losing and feel like you've wasted a lot of time and energy. The other thing is they certainly could just address the fatigue, but I doubt they would ever do this and get rid of fatigue and just have it like Yu-Gi-Oh! At least used to be, where if you run out of cards you lose immediately. Then there would be a real danger of running out of cards. Of course, there's also spells like Dead Man's Hand that allows you to basically have infinite cards and you can't really ever run out. So there would be ways to play around that. Next we have a 3 mana 2 attack 4 health legendary minion called the Stargazer Luna. After you play the rightmost card in your hand, to draw a card. This is an interesting gameplay mechanic because it's just nothing I've ever seen before. The rightmost card in your hand will always be the card you drew latest. So whatever is leftmost is the oldest card in your hand. Whatever right is rightmost is the newest card. So if you had this on the field and you played the card that's rightmost, you would draw a new card and then you would have to play that card to continue drawing. What are you particularly drawing for? I'm not really sure. That's where you'd have to really decide what is the synergy here. Is this a card specifically designed to help you get Sorcerer's Apprentices or Archmage Archidonis or the hero replacement card, or I don't even know what else you would really be looking for. But of course, drawing more cards is always helpful. Next we have a 4 mana 4 attack 3 health elemental with spell damage +2. Apparently that's just going to be a standard thing now, where we have minions that just have spell damage +2. Up until this point there's only been minions that have spell damage +1, and I believe one card had spell damage +5 and it was a legendary. This one's called the Cosmic Anomaly. Next we have a 4 mana spell called the Unexpected Results. Summon 2 random 2-cost minions, improved by spell damage. So I don't know what that means. If your spell damage is +1, does that summon a 3-cost minion? 2 random 3-cost minions? This all of a sudden starts to put spell damage in a different light. So let's see, if you had a couple of these played, that would be +4 if you play 2 of these at the same time. And if you had 2 of these on the field, that would be another +4, and that would be 4 minions. So then if you had 2 other minions that were on the field giving you +2, you could get 2 random 10-cost minions. Of course the question then I guess is, how could you fit them on the board? Because if you had 2 of these and 2 of these and 2 other characters, you already have 6 minions on the field, so you'd only really get 1 2-cost minion, 10-cost minion. So you need a 3rd minion with spell damage +2 or something higher, so that you could have 5 minions on the field to give you +10. Well, 2, 4, like 8 plus. Wait, no. Actually, you would, because it starts at 2. I'm doing the math wrong. Just having 2 of these and just having 2 of these on the field would give you 2 random 10-cost minions. I'm not sure. Like, certainly that would be helpful to have 2 random 10-cost minions, but I'm not sure it's that helpful. The randomness destroys any kind of strategy there. There are better ways to play, I believe. Next we have a 6 mana minion that is 3 attack and 3 health. It is called the Meteorologist. Battlecry: for each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. How many cards can you have in your hand is the question. I think you can have like 10 cards in your hand, but I haven't counted specifically. So maybe on the 6th turn you could play this and do maybe 9 damage. I think you almost certainly have to have 6 cards in your hand to play this and for it to be worthwhile, because it is so low on the health and the attack otherwise. But this seems like it works. There's an equivalent spell card that does 4 damage to all minions and freezes them for 7 mana. So this probably is a good card to play the turn before that if you're just playing control and trying to make sure the board is eliminated. On its own, it's kind of weird though. Next we have a 7 mana, 5 attack, 5 health minion called the Astromancer. I'm getting the feeling that a lot of these minions are slightly weaker, but they have more crazy things that they're doing. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think we need just a basic power creep where every expansion these 7 mana minions do 1 more attack or have 1 more health, or both. I would much prefer new concepts and more interesting gameplay. So Astromancer has a battle cry: summon a random minion with cost equal to your hand size. Again, if you can have 10 minions on your hand, maybe you would summon a 10 cards in your hand. You might summon a 9 mana minion when you play this, because you'd be losing 1 card when you played this. But I don't think you can go much higher than that. There, I believe, is an 11 mana cost minion, and maybe even a 12 cost minion, and I believe there's a 15 cost minion, but there's a gap there right now at least. And then lastly we have a 7 mana legendary spell called Luna's Pocket Galaxy. Change the cost of the minions in your deck to 1. Interesting. Well, certainly you can't argue with a card like this. There's no way this isn't a good card. Reducing the cost to 1 is clearly the right thing to do. So let's see what we can do with standard cards with that Mage deck. Let's see, cast 6 spells that didn't start with your deck to take a 2nd turn. Whenever you draw them in, add a copy to your hand. So, not a lot of elemental minions added to the Mage deck, but still there's enough of them. So you can still play these classic Sorcerer's Apprentice, which I feel like at some point the Sorcerer's Apprentice is going to have to be in some way nerfed, or Archmage Archidonus is going to have to be some way nerfed, because I'm really tired of people playing that strategy alone. There's like no other strategy beyond that. It's just stall until you can get 4 Sorcerer's Apprentices on the field, so that you can then play a Fireball and deal 6 damage for free. And when you have Archmage Archidonus on the field, that helps. It's interesting to look here and see how the gaps are expanding. So this is a 6 mana, do 2 damage to all enemy minions and freeze them. The previous card was, where was it? Should be here. Oh, here it is. For each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. So you probably would do more damage here depending on how many minions are on the field. So 2 6-turn stalls to get to the point where Archmage Archidonus is a classic card too. So the strategy that drives me, it's Antonidas. I've been calling him Archidonus, whatever. The strategy still exists, so desperately this needs to get nerfed. I am so tired of playing against this strategy and this strategy alone. The way they get 4 Sorcerer Apprentices is they cast spells that duplicate them. Here's the Flame Strike that does 4 damage to all enemy minions. It doesn't actually freeze them though. And there was a small bit of thought that maybe dragons would become the realm of the mage, but they really haven't been. And this is the hero replacement card, Frostlich Jaina. Summon a 3/6 water elemental. Your elementals now have lifesteal this game. And so we saw 1 more elemental added here. But yeah, you're still totally dealing with the same old strategy. So even in the next expansion, I don't see a way you get around that. Either Sorcerer's Apprentices need to be nerfed, or Archmage Archidonus needs to be nerfed. And I'm not generally a big fan of nerfing cards, but in that case, it has really just ruined the fun against playing something, playing a mage. Maybe, as I've been saying at the end of all of these recordings, there would be a... Here's your Mana Worm. Whenever you cast a spell, gain +1 attack. Maybe we'll see some more neutral cards that will synergize more with the mage, but I don't even really need it to do that. Like, until they address Archmage Antonidas and Sorcerer Apprentice as a combo, that is just going to be the only way to play. And frankly, since I'm going to be using HS Replay to help me build my decks, I'm probably going to end up playing that dumb deck also, and it's certainly not going to be fun anytime I do that. Good news is there's usually very few daily quests or requirements that actually have you play as the mage, since the mage is supposed to be the first hero class that everybody plays. It literally is the first one you have to play when you start a new account. But to really have an entire class that is supposedly only for the newest of the new players and then be abandoned is not a good way to deal with your character classes. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, friend me on Steam, give me a game or a gift card, or send me a Steam code through Twitter direct message. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.